introduction, panel collaboration. Starting off with a quick intro. We have a very distinguished panel here representing diverse industries, banking, new age finance, telecommunications, legal strategy. But I'll let them introduce themselves in a little more detail. Over to you,
Thank you, Dilip. So I'll start with myself. I'm Ahmed Nagy, and I'm actually a senior legal counsel. I'll consider myself into common technology, part and banking, and the contracts and commercial technology relationship within EI.
I'm Saab. I'm the General Counsel of Ooredoo Group, a regional telecom company operating in MENA and Southeast Asia.
My name is Amira Soliman. I'm the CEO and founder of Time Guardian Athar Finance. I'm bridging the gap between the TradeFi and DeFi by building solutions to enable crypto payment, digital goals, and investments.
Hi, I'm Henrietta Martin, Legal and Strategy Director for JusCogen and Alcop. I think I will just close my introduction here. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. So a quick intro to the topic, right? So as lawyers, we have all been trained to trust three P's, right? That is process, precedence, and the professional judgment. Now we have a fourth P coming into the picture, which is proprietary algorithms. So how do we tackle this new player? And as Anthropic puts it, as a new co-worker, right, who would sort of share workspace with you, who doesn't need coffee breaks, who never asks for extensions, right? So it's critical that we sort of try and figure out how we govern this new innovation and what's the role played by users. So with that, I'll start off with Ahmed, right? So how do you think legal leaders can reframe AI governance to enable innovation rather than acting as a speed bump?
Okay, that's a very actually interesting one. So look at it from a different perspective, calling back how actually legal and legal professionals used to work, and then by the introduction of AI, every CEO and the senior management are now very first to push forward for the full utilization of AI, irrespective of whether it's actually providing with a pure advantage or a disadvantage, as it's still a new tool. However, considering the positive part of the story, when we say we will consider AI as a tool that would facilitate our day-to-day work and would definitely facilitate our work to be more easier, smoother, and to reduce the consuming of time spent by the lawyers in order to enable them to not focus on more complex matters. When it comes to as well implementing or establishing a proper governance to the AI, starting from proper policies, training for the legal department members to understand the perfect infrastructure of the AI and what can be actually shared, what cannot be shared, the usage. I think a proper knowledge sharing, proper policies, and do and don'ts needs to be well established by proper policies to then give a better clarity to the employees who are actually using AI.
That's very insightful, thank you. So ties into that, right? Amira, you come from an industry which is sort of disrupting the existing players and the existing setup. So how do you sort of design for innovation, right, when things are very dynamic and changing?
So, very good question, thanks, Dilip. So, what we are doing exactly is not disturbing, we are collaborating actually, we are enabling, we are saying that we are enabling the big corporates and governments and the financial institutions through building for them a ready-made solution which will be integrated with their existing system without interrupting. Because when you talk about the big corporates, and I came from big corporate, we worked for Saab City and multiple organizations, they have their infrastructure in place, and if you go to the infrastructure and say that we want to change completely or change the system, this is something which is very, very difficult to be done. And you come from legal and know there is a legal behind, there is a risk, there is a compliance, there is a business, there is a product. All of this, people need to be collaborating together to come up with one solution. And now there is a big lead from the government to push AI into everything in order to optimize and in order to be much more smarter when you do your work. And this is the way forward. So accordingly, I left the banking industry and I know the gaps which is available there. I said, we are not gonna compete with them, we'll collaborate with them. So we built a solution which is licensed by VARA and which is a governance here available in the UAE, enabling the digital assets. So we said that we will build a solution in order to be easy used with the financial institution. And this is how we come up with digital vaults, which is enable you to store and save your data, and even the AI can identify what type of documents you have. They can scatter it or they organize it in a certain way and accordingly save it into your digital vault instead of having the old safe lockers. And this is of course to be approved by FAB, and because they are using it as of now, it takes them 6 months. So to evaluate the product and say, yes, we can do this, 6 months, and I was working with them, I was C-level, so think about it, have even the MasterCard out. But still, to adapt, they need to ensure the accuracy, the governance in behind. What type of blockchain you are using? Is it the right type of blockchain? Does it use the latest technology? Because when you talk about disrupting, we are not disrupting, we're using the latest technology, but the technology itself keeps changing and evolving on a daily basis. So when I started into the blockchain, it was layer 1, now there is layer 2, there is AMVs. So you need to be always enhancing, and once you do the enhancing, you need to do the auditing. And after you do the auditing, you need to send it to the governance to approve this. So if you are into the tech part and don't understand this, you are in trouble. You cannot go to the market at all. So the most important thing, which I really see it as a very successful, that follow the governance, have the compliance bias from the beginning, okay, and ensure that there's a regular audits happening in order to implement your solution. If you are not doing this, you will not go live, and even people will not believe in you. And the best part that we are here in the UAE, they are supporting a lot any kind of AI innovation, technology innovation, fintech. So accordingly, you have a chance if you are following this. So this is what I can say.
Thank you so much for that. The need for speed and innovation versus regulation, especially given the change in the transformation agendas and AI becoming part of it.
AI is becoming part of our telecom industry. And like Amira was saying, governance is very important. And we, as GCC nations, they're not considering AI as a business tool now. It's in their vision. I mean, you have Qatar, I'm about Qatar because I know about Qatar, it's Qatar National Vision 2030. You know, we all know about the AE and their vision about AI, the huge data centers which are being built here and in Saudi, so it's a business tool. And the risk is you cannot do this vision and accelerate it without having safe innovations. It's a link. They need to be together. You cannot prioritize acceleration over safety and innovation. They should be linked. They should have a governance framework. It should be transparent. It should be ethical. It should not be biased. And also, you have to in each country you have to implement it according to the local values and the Islamic values. So it's very important to have a safe environment for it and not prioritize acceleration.
Thank you so much. That brings me to you, right? Henrietta. Given your role as a legal strategist,
Yes.
what would you say is the role played by legal in instilling the organizational values when it comes to AI governance?
Yes. So the first thing that comes to my mind as you pose this question, first of all, thank you for it. So the first thing that comes to my mind is AI and law, they are actually axiomatic, if you think about it, these days. Because AI no longer is just a buzzword, but it is really integrated into our systems. This I'm talking out of experience, at least for the past 3 years, we have attended several conferences, and this has been my topic, if you remember also. And I think now our opinion has really changed, and like as she said, about evolving, even our opinions have evolved, you see? So technology evolves, and with that law evolves as well. So from my organization point of view, what we do is, we have the right policies in place. There was someone who said, just having policy on paper wouldn't suffice. But then my answer to that was, implementation is the key. Governance models need to be built, and governance models need to be implemented. So basically, I would talk about the ACE factor. That's how I brace my team. I tell them about the ACE factor and evolving with the technology and bearing the law in mind. The ACE factor that I'm talking about is accountability, of course, and confidentiality. Next would be ethics that is integrated into yourself as well as into the system, where I tell my team that whatever you do, don't just cut, copy, paste. Don't just borrow without giving due credit from whom you have taken the data from. And if it is AI, we have started a system of AI labeling within the organization. Labeling the data as AI, or taken it from whatever AI systems that we have. We say, okay, it's taken from so and so, the source, identifying the source and labeling it as AI. Why? Because this gives accountability from where you have borrowed it. And we don't pose ourselves like it has come out of our own brains. So, of course, accountability, confidentiality, ethics, and enforceability. For any policy that we draft in our organization, I believe in policies. I'm a hardcore policy believer. I know there are pages and pages of policy, but people like us here in our team, we are the people in our organization where we implement those policies. I'm sure you do that as well with your team. We implement those policies. So policies, when they are drafted, they need to be enforceable. So enforceability is also a key in any organization. Now, apart from that, governance models. When we build governance models, I would say that these governance models or policies without enforceability factor is just a PDF. It is just a PDF. It is just staying there in your system. Yeah? But then training your team on AI ethics, use of AI. Because these days, if you look around you, there are several cases like Matter versus Avianca, which is a classic case. A US District Court case, Matter versus Avianca, where there's this Judge Counsel who said a remark, and as one of his arbiter remarks, he said, technological advancements are not an excuse for abdication of responsibility. That means it thrusts upon us lawyers the responsibility to use AI properly. So there are other cases as well. In Qatar, Qatar International Finance Center, they call it Qatar International Court. So there was a particular case that came up before them, Jonathan versus Chilling. Right? So in that case, lawyers like us, I wouldn't just, lawyers like us, they were over-relied on AI extracts of cases. Yeah, praise God that,
It was not correct. It was false information, he got it and everything.
Yes.
It's public information, we're not saying something.
Yeah, and thank God that this is not just AI extract, this is really a precedent. This is a real precedent, even Matter versus Avianca. So imagine walking into the courtroom with a case full of briefs which is actually not existing. We are relying on precedents which are not existing. That talks about responsibility as lawyers and also as policymakers within an organization, or as team heads or senior legal counsels, or whatever positions we are holding, training the younger generation. Apart from that, talking about organization point of view, yet another thing we do is employee training, team training. I sit with my team, and also I have recommended this to the HR. saying that have special AI training for the entire, all the employees, irrespective of the department, even if it is finance. Because now, you see, extracting information online, be it Copilot or ChatGPT, which I really don't like, but it's happening. It's happening. Sometimes, invariably, even I check, of course. It happens. Though I don't like it. So the training employees. So these are some of the things that we do. About the ACE factor, I said, accountability, confidentiality, enforceability, which is a key, policy enforcement, and ethics integrated in there. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that practical perspective. If I recollect correctly, the Mata case, I think 6 cases that didn't exist were voted, and the judge wasn't happy with that.
So you create that counsel.
Right. I think in fact recently Deloitte got fined a lot for coming up with shoddy AI results. So puts things in perspective, right, as to how to be cautious.
Yes, and Judge Counsel in that he thumped upon the aspect of candor. He said lawyers have to see that you represent and present matters with candor, that is with accountability, and not shun away from your responsibility. Even when you present something in this matter, as you said in Matter versus Avianca, lawyers like us, after presenting a precedent, they said, they justified it, saying that why they're. So that's how the judge said, don't justify. So that's what he was a bit irritated, and he came up with some guidelines in that case.
Thanks for that. And speaking of accountability, right, who would you say is accountable for AI systems in organizations like banks, or for that matter, any organization?
Okay, so as my colleague correctly said, starting from, or in order to enable such software or tool or even a new solution, someone needs to own it and take the full accountability and start checking the boxes of their requirements, starting from the governance part, the reporting part, the confidentiality of the documents, the data servers, whether the AI tool would be sharing the data or extracting it from external sources or internal sources, depending on the material that you feed. Couple of requirements, especially when it comes to the security in a sensitive sector, such as the banking or financial market. I think that's a very sensitive. So a huge focus would be focusing on this. Whether it's under chief AI under the jurisdiction or under the organization, or somehow dual hosting between the IT security and digital team, depending on the size and the infrastructure of the organization. But someone needs to actually be on top of it, since such tool is not only covering, as Amir said, one department, but it's actually being spread across the whole organization, even reaching to the board level. So now we're noticing that even the board meetings, the General Assembly, whether action points, MOMs, decisions is being summarized, captured, and even made ready to be signed with AI tools where no human involvement. So that's somehow very critical, especially when it comes to public joint stock companies, where a small information may affect the shares of the organization. And a proper control seems to be in place.
Speaking of AI reaching boardrooms, so George, how would you say board and senior leadership can have accurate and adequate amount of oversight over this technology when it's very complex and also evolving at an exponential rate?
Yeah, before answering this question, I just want to add that I've been saying and agreeing, because my team and everyone asked me, is AI replacing my job? And first of all, I don't know. I don't know. But I'm sure that AI can elevate your role and elevate your job. So that's what you have to take the opportunity for it. Will it replace it? I don't know. in our area, legal field, I don't know if my colleagues here will agree or not, but many people are saying that we don't need any more junior lawyers and or paralegals. But how will you become senior lawyer if you're not becoming junior? If you're not becoming junior lawyer before, and work hard and research and everything. AI will help you, will facilitate your life, but you have to read and you have to have your common sense at the end. Because AI might give you in negotiations, AI can give you an opinion, but you might agree with the counterpart with his views. So that's why we are here. We have our experience to give our common sense, not the right. That's why the role of AI might elevate your role. Back to your question. Sorry, I took time on. Again, in our area, not all board members are experts in the tech, are on the board of the company they sit. There are political appointments and non-political appointments. So we cannot say that we need to have AI board expertise, but at least they need to treat the AI as they treat the other departments. They need to ask proper questions. They need to put proper governance. They need to put proper framework. They need to include the proper audit. And that's how, because board members are not experts, and that's why they need to have this proper question, and especially the audit, like Amira was saying at the beginning.
And now it meant asking another lawyer. Now it's people going on a chat board, their favorite chat board, rather than asking, what do you think?
I mean, in Bahrain now, judges for traffic rules, traffic violations in Bahrain, there's no more judges. It's AI. But which is, I mean, it's easy. You violate, you break a red light. It's easy. But like say, for example, you cannot have AI because you have to see the human touch. Who's gonna raise the children? Does the father or the mother can really live like this? Like maybe the AI will equate reading files, but you have to have the human touch at the end.
Speaking of frameworks, right? So as a pioneer in your industry, not much of a frame of reference. How do you go about coming up with?
We have more actually. We have more, to be honest. In banks, it's highs in the middle, but when you're a startup or you're a fintech, you have multiple governance everywhere. Everyone will put in your governance and framework. But I just want to say something about eliminating the human, because it's very, very important. The AI started when we have the calculators. It's not new. And it's not something new. And I'll give you an example. When I started my career, I was a credit analyst and taking up to the council level to the banking, and then I left it because I know that the AI is coming up very hard. But in my role, I was head of credit, and in head of credit, I implemented the scoring model, and I got to know there is no need for credit analyst. I've implemented GSAs, which is approving immediately. It will just you scan your Emirates ID. I can say you can have a loan card, and I'll give you this investment. I implemented it in fact. And I got to know I don't have any more this position. How come I'll be head of credit? I need to move to the head of portfolio. I move to head of portfolio, and head of portfolio, and head of scoring models, which give you as well how we grow portfolio. So every role is 100% replaceable. There is no two ways about it. But the human touch, which takes the final decision, is not replaceable at all. So still the head of credit, I left the credit, but still the head of credit is there. Still the head of portfolio is there. Still the sales people who's going and selling is available. Call center still having it. So we should not worry, because at the end, AI will optimize, will make our work easy, but it will not replace. You need to improve your capabilities always and come up to the curve and ensure you are aligned with what's happening around, so you can be growing as well. But if you stay behind and say, yes, my work will, of course you will lose it. Concerning the frameworks actually, I've been into the governance all my life, and what made me successful really that I follow framework almost. The first thing which I started when I started my company, I went, the previous one or this one, I went to the AGM and I said, what is the best? I want to have a payment solution, I want to have investment, I want to have digital gold, so what's the licenses required? and I see what is the cost of each one, and accordingly I said, no, why should I pay? I will partner with licensed entity at the beginning, and then, so I put in a roadmap, I put in a strategy. If I'm capable to afford the license, I'll go for it, and the project will give me back the money. If I'm not able, I will go for partnership with licensed entity, and I will write into their own license, and I'll act as a tech provider. So, very, very important when you go to any startup or when you go to any solution you are using, understand what is the framework they put. I understand what is the governance model they have. It's not about writing policies, it's implementing. Is this policy inbuilt into their systems or no? Because we write a lot of policies and governance, but does it fit into the system? Because you can say, I'm a human, I can forget. But if it's built inside the tools you provided to me, I will never forget it. So the framework, it's very, very crucial. And again, I'm very happy I'm available in the GCC. I started with Bahrain, I enabled the AFS. If you're aware about them, I enabled them for stablecoin payments. And now I'm with Saab, enabling them for digital vaults, and with Maria Bank doing as well the e-coin. So why they select me? Not because of anything. I came from banking, and I built a framework, and I go to the governance organs. I go to Central Bank Revenue. I go to the VARA. I would like to know what's happening here, despite I have FSRA in Abu Dhabi. I come here to see what is the latest. So the credibility is the key. If you have the governance in behind, if you ensure, and this comes from the leadership. So me, if my team see me like this, if my partners see me like this, it's easy to close the deals. But if you don't have the governance, if you don't have a framework, if you put it in place and execute it and put it into your systems, you don't just show charts and just see the demos, see the systems itself, just show the same framework which you talk about, just show the policy and the governance which you talk about, very, very crucial. Then everything will be easy after this.
Henrietta, what would you say, how would you advise your clients to look at AI governance more as a practical fit rather than a compliance checklist that they need to take care of?
So as I said earlier, according to me, it's for me, the wonderful question, in fact, wonderful question. Talking about checklists, today, as we see it, I would say that AI or integrating AI into our systems, though it is ideally a boardroom dream, at least in medium-sized companies, but in large entities, I've already seen AI being integrated into their system. Okay, but talking about medium and small-scale industries or small-scale companies, it's like the dream of the top management to integrate AI into their system. But what I would really advise, and what we are already doing is in our company, is we are treating it as a checklist, but we are evolving with it, we are living it. I would say that these days, companies who treat technology, including AI, as a living organism, would thrive and sustain themselves in the market, rather than those who, shun it aside, or who keep debating whether AI is a useful tool or it's not a useful tool, or whether I should integrate it into my system or not, and just not merely using it also as a checklist, but integrating it as it is, in the sense that it has to become a part of your organization, just as emails have become part of your organization. Some years back, emails, they were not part of many years back. Same thing, everyone, and even once upon a time we had paper filing, but today we have digital filing, yeah? So that's how, integrating it, like hardcore integration, and making it a part of your organization, not merely as a checklist, and not merely as a dream that's going to come true, but evolving with technology and keeping pace with technology. Those are the kind of organizations that will thrive in the future, including professionals also, those who keep pace with technology, those who keep upgrading themselves with the law. Like for example, if you look around you, just within a span of 2 years, the entire world braced itself up with AI and law. I remember in one of the panels where I and Ahmed were sharing, we were talking about EU Act 2024. You know, and now this EU Act 2024 is now used as a guideline globally, and every country has come up, now including India. India has come up with a white paper in September 2025. Okay, and it's okay. Thank you. So, and talking about traffic, right? Now India has also integrated AI robotic judges into their judiciary to handle small cause cases. It's already implemented now for small cause cases. Police departments have integrated AI. Okay, let's forget about legal one side for a moment. Let's talk about the health sector. Just last year in UAE, kidney transplant was performed by AI-powered robot. So you see, technology, yeah, I know. I understand what's in your mind. So. Yes, seriously. So even I had these thoughts in mind. I was apprehensive as well, but yeah, but it is happening. It's happening. And just today morning, I think one of the ministers in UAE, she said about AI technology and integrating it into the government systems, where we have AI regulatory intelligence ecosystem here, which was implemented in April 2025. Talking about that, she said this morning, as per the news of course, she said that AI integration into our systems does have its roots in the rule of law. When you talk about law, I'm like, okay, alert. So she says it has its roots in the rule of law. Imagine. So that means UAE is also growing along with AI, and the laws are being built, keeping pace with technology. Even Singapore this year, January 2026, has come up with a governance model. Okay. Korea has come up with AI Act based on the principles that are, adumbrated in EU Act 2024. So Korea has Italy has come up with a law which in 2025 December, which says that it criminalizes, usage of AI data in a way that it would cause some harm to another person. So law and technology have to go hand in hand, okay? And the laws are evolving across the globe. Within a span, I'm reiterating it now, within a span of 2 years, I've seen the entire world brace up with AI. So wisdom is, as technology grows, laws are coming up. And I think for the next conference, whichever conference we'll be attending, we will, talking about the next level, we'll be talking about laws, and we'll forget about AI systems. And as she said about, the human element, and even you spoke about the human element, the oversight. Human oversight cannot be forgotten at all, because human oversight in every organization, when you're implementing AI, you spoke about auditability as well. So it has to be iterative. That means it's not just one-stop process. It is iterative. You continuously monitor the process. It's iterative, and you grow with it. And the smartness of any professional is how you brace yourself up with the existing regulations, and how you work hand in hand with global regulations, especially if you're a company which is having trade transactions cross-border, in how you brace yourself with cross-border laws, as well as internal policies that you have, and how you advise your organization, and you grow with it. So, yeah.
So speaking of AI governance, George, in a large group of companies like yours, how do you see it working in practice, right? Is it a slow process, or even it's evolving at a rapid pace, you need to buck up and do it quickly? What would you say?
it's not easy to implement, and we're using AI in different type of practice. But first of all, you have before using AI, you have to be fair, because what you feed the AI, the LLMs, it will give you the result which you want. Which, for example, let's say we're hiring someone, we can tell him just select European from this university, from this nationality, which is not fair. So that's why when you were using AI, we're not using AI to target certain type of customer, for example, for marketing campaign. And we're using mainly AI also now, which also like for to see how is the habits of our customers using to target for them and segmentation for advertising. Like we use, let's see, someone is using Facebook instead of Instagram. So we give him an offer for Facebook, not Instagram, and this saves so much time and analysis, and that's why we have data governance analysis. But again, you cannot do with this one without proper policy in place. You have a chatbot, but you have to have a human agent at the end, because if someone is complaining about something, the chatbot cannot resolve the complaint. You have to have the human element at the end. So you can have all the AI functions in our company, for example, telecom, for marketing, for advertising, especially if we are very regulated. We cannot have pricing based on AI, because our pricing have to be approved by the CRA, for example, in Qatar, the Communication Regulatory Authority. So you cannot have offers or anything without have proper policies. You have to have a human touch agent at the end of the chatbot. You have to language also. We operate in many countries. We operate in places where the French is the main language. We have to operate to have Arabic. Like for example, we operate in the Kurdish area of Iraq. We have to speak Kurdish. So it has all to be put in place. It has to have a governance framework. It has to have policies, and you have to have it. And like Amira was saying, and I agree with that really, an audit how it's working and to be fair and smart.
So speaking of audit and traceability, right? So Ahmed, I see there being a thin balance, right, and that needs to be struck when it comes to the goals that management has. How do you strike a balance between management's goal to sort of lead when it comes to AI, and the regulators need to sort of have accountability, traceability, and explainability, right?
So what we're actually noticing now, even when it comes to the regulator and the kind of controls and circulars that they are circulating and imposing over the institutions, and even not only on the AI, but even on other solutions like the open finance and open banking and other sandbox. I think the regulator is somehow really putting in a huge focus when it comes to the controls, proper auditing system and audit trails that can be traced, proper reporting and governance within the organization, and proper frequency by the organization to report such usage, especially if there is breaches. Apart of that, the importance and essentiality of the data protection, where I think it's the topic of the hour as well when it comes to DPNM, the assurance of that the data originated from the UAE to be used within the UAE, unless you need to transform it or to transfer it somewhere out of the UAE. The regulator is involved, pre-approvals are in place to assess the sensitivity of the data. It's somehow as well a comprehensive exercise between what my colleagues as well and myself set by ensuring there is a proper governance, policies, accountability, and several aspects that would actually lead to a proper regulations governing not only the the usage of the tool, but the whole economic stability of the country.
Thanks for that. And speaking of regulators, right, going back to the original theme I had with you of new age technology and things evolving, how exactly do you build trust with regulators as well as users when it's something that's very new and neither party is familiar with it? Right? How do you sort of make them trust you as a credible player and that the framework you have being the right one and a credible one?
Very good question. Actually, the trust comes from years and years of experience. It cannot happen in one day. So there's a lot of boundaries, and I'm lucky to be honest. I'm expert into my field, so it's years of experience to give you trust and credibility. So accordingly, this is one factor. The other thing, the technology you are using, is it audited? Is it having the proper licensing in place? This is very, very crucial. And when you go always and argue with the regulators, people say don't argue with regulators, avoid, and just execute what they are saying. But it's in the opposite, to be honest. They prefer and they love that you go and ask questions and challenge and say that I come up with this solution, and they will come, no, but you don't have the license. I say that, but AFS have the license, why should I have the license? Just take provider. And you keep giving the workflow and the framework what you are doing, and then accordingly, and if you are doing something which really benefiting the customer, they will support you 100%. Most importantly, you go with a strong business case, follow the governance model, follow the rule book, and don't come up with something from your mind, because at the end everything is about have a governance for it. So don't build it from scratch. Build in whatever other stops always. So complement what they have done. Don't go and say what you have done is very bad, and accordingly, no, we want to do it this way. No, complement what they've built and say that you have this just new technology which will be supporting what you do or completing your journey, and this is accordingly will be very successful. This is what I've done. So whether it's on my digital goals or whether it's into my payments, always I complement what the other is doing. So in the digital vaults, I went to the safe lockers. I found this is a very old mechanism. It doesn't save the digital assets. It doesn't save a lot of information. I'm the only one having the access. The beneficiaries will not have the access unless I will document it. It's a very, very long process. As a lawyer, you know how it is. So I come up with something which is fully digital, fully credited, the governance supported accordingly, and I enable it. How I gain the trust of the consumer? I didn't go and say Time Guardian is the best or Athar is the best. I went to Saab, which is the biggest bank into the Middle East. They sell it to their own customers, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel. They have the exist. I went to and I partner with them. They give it to their smallest customers also. Why should I reinvent the wheel? I always look into the gaps. I partner with the big ones. They are having the license. If they don't have the license, I go and I build a good business case. I submit it to the central bank and I submit it to the FSRA. Immediately when they found someone who understands their language and everything is in place, it's very easy to execute. It takes time, but this is the price. So the price is the time, but accordingly, when you go out, it will be very easy because you've partnered with the right people, you went to the governance, you showcase what you are doing, so it's very, you put a lot of audits in it. And the audits is not one time, audit is very, very important because people think you do the audit one time and this is it. Whether it's a model you are building, you need to keep enhancing your model and exercise the database which you are feeding into your model in order to improve it regularly. So everything it's a journey and practice. Don't do it one time and stop here. This is very, very important. So yeah.
The price is time and
The price is time, but it's worthy. It's worthy.
Okay, I have one question for the entire panel. So what would you say are one or two AI tools that you think the audience can benefit from, that you have personally used, liked, and would like to recommend?
So I will not promote any.
It goes with a disclaimer, none of this is promotion. Yes.
No, I understand, but being a lawyer, we have to be a bit careful, and this is, of course, a public forum, so disclaimer. I would say that we use what we use. Okay, so we use Reality Defender. Okay, we have integrated it into our system, which helps us to verify data. It's a software which helps us to verify data, and also helps us perform due diligence. Okay, so apart from that, there are several AI tools available. Feel free to use it if the top management agrees to invest in that. Then again, it depends upon of course, the pricing and whatever your company says, go with it. But ultimately, I would say that whatever you use, never forget the human element. Human brain is irreplaceable. AI is just a tool in your hands. Use it to your advantage. Grow with it. Keep yourself updated with the laws. Do not forget books, of course. I'm a voracious reader. Do not forget books. There's beauty in those pages. And of course, you can use them in digital versions, but never forget old authors. And I remember Roscoe Pound is one of the legal philosophers. He said that law, no doubt, should be stable, but it has to grow. Now, this is again, two opposite statements. Yeah, so it has to grow, and yet it has to be stable. So what he's trying to say is, you grow, but at the same time remain stable, right? So you grow with technology, you implement laws, you read. Human brain is irreplaceable, and I would conclude by saying, like, your job also is actually irreplaceable. If you stand out of the crowd, no one will replace you. So that's it.
Thank you. Amira, over to you.
Given I'm a fintech myself, I will not promote my solutions at all. And the good thing I said it B2B only, so don't worry, I will not promote it to you. But what I can tell you, if you're working in a corporate, follow the corporate tools because they have done the proper audits in it. And this is why they integrated to your system. Don't use something and put yourself into a problem which is not audited by, especially when you are doing your day-to-day activities. I think they integrated certain tools, and the government itself integrated certain tools. So use these tools for your day-to-day activities, and don't try other ones. If you would like as well to use anything, see where it's licensed. Very, very important. Where they have the license. If there is no license, don't use it. This is what I can advise. And again, I don't like to promote any solution, given I have my solution. So please ensure that what you are using is licensed in the geographic you are existing in. So it's not licensed in Cayman Islands, in British Islands. Don't avoid all of this and use the ones which can prevent any scam to you, can prevent any problem or disputes or disciplinary action in your company. This is what I can advise, to be honest.
Thank you.
So I will give like 5-6 legal tools, but I'm not going to say which one I'm using. You can check them and you can decide whoever you want. You have Luminance, Harvey, Canoni, Contract AI. You have Trust. So you can choose whatever you want. But like you just said, the two things which you have to make sure about data protection, where they're doing, about cross-border data, are there GDPR, local data implementation, that's very important with what you're dealing with. License, I agree. And speak with your information security team if they have to do the testing before for any breach, any firewall, any of that.
So for me, I would like actually to look from the other side of the coin. So it's not about the softwares that you're using. It's more of be more curious on uploading and using your corporate documentation, corporate sensitive information within a free tool. And that's really, exactly, because like we witnessed that even like in a couple of incidents where employees do actually use free tools. Yes.
Don't upload your identity.
Exactly.
Our company is locked. Like,
Yeah.
it's locked. You cannot, when you open ChatGPT, it's locked.
Yeah, but
Even if you open it
on
with your
personal
phone,
mobile,
you
it's still available.
But you cannot allow to download emails
Yes.
and upload it. So
Yes.
it's locked
Yes.
from our
I
side.
think with the big companies, yes, but maybe smaller companies might not have the same security and controls.
Even you can't copy paste that.
That's true. That's
But
true.
banks especially they have.
Definitely.
They're not allowing people to send email outside.
Yeah, true. Even screenshots from the mobile, that's not allowed. Yeah.
You cannot
So
copy paste it.
that's right.
So
Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
completely locked. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the advice.
Thank you. I think we have time for a couple of questions from audience, if we have any.
I don't need the microphone, I can. So, I have a question, and the question is basically on businesses and regulators. Now, from your shared experiences, how do you find the adoption of AI and large language models in companies, and perhaps their fear of it going wrong and regulators kind of taking a negative approach? Call it recklessness, call it perhaps lack of awareness, but where do you see the trade-off where regulators will draw a line to say, okay, this is negligent and this is ambitious and adventurous? The sandbox, so to speak.
So let me answer you for the sandbox part.
Always the regulators put for you the sandbox in order to cover any innovative idea and test it for a smaller kind of population, and accordingly, once the testing going good and everything is fine, they will go completely live. And this is a very good thing happening here in Bahrain, multiple GCC, that whatever you have an idea, you get a sandbox, test it into the sandbox license, and accordingly you don't have to pay a lot of money because it's sandbox, and then accordingly you go for the proper licensing and through the proper route. So regulators is very supportive in this. They draw it very well. They allow you as any innovator or any small businesses to use this. But the most important thing, who will partner with you? Because when you have a sandbox, when you have an idea, yes, you can come, but who will be testing it into the population? So most probably it will be a licensed entity. So you need to be very selective. Are this licensed entity, are they innovative? They really adapt to the technology? Do you really want to go for the latest technology or no? And this is the question which you will always struggle with. In Bahrain, it's very actually advanced in this area. In the UAE, it's very advanced in this area. I don't know about Hong Kong is very, very advanced, but others I'm not aware. So I think that GC is really very supportive, but you need to know who will be your partner, and this is the key. And the partner need to trust you in order to implement the sandbox for you. So this is the only thing which I can see. Anyone can add?
So in addition to that, I would always say that for me, in my perspective, it is like it begins with me. Correction begins with me. Accountability begins with me. So I normally support my team in policy making in consonance with the regulations operating in the system. We have accountability integrated into our policies. Who is going to be accountable in the management? Yeah. So, and the policies, all these policies, we have an AI policy in place. These policies are in consonance with global, and we upgrade it every year. We revise it every year. It is in consonance with EU Act because we are trading with multiple European countries. And it is in consonance with, of course, UAE. It is in UAE, of course, we have 3421, which is cyber laws. So, and in UAE, DIFC and ADGM, they have integrated AI accountability into their regulations. There is nothing called as AI regulation exclusively, but it is integrated. It is part of the current regulations that they have. So UAE does not have a law prima facie at the moment, unlike EU Act. Unlike, it doesn't have a law, but it's part, 3421 is cyber laws. So it's part of it. AI is part of it. Technological advancement. So what we do is keeping pace. If you're a global organization, if you're operating globally, if you do not want regulators to knock at your door, but it happens, inadvertently it happens. But then, who is accountable within your organization? How sturdy is your policy? How firm is your team in keeping pace with the regulations? Who is in charge there? And we do not believe in being sorry. This is what I tell my team. Instead of answering someone like, where I'm sorry, I apologize that I did this. It's better at the inception, you are over careful. So oversight is the key. You have to be careful. I spoke about keeping up your policy with the global regulations, whether it's EU, whether it's UAE, whether it's GCC, and always keep reviewing your policies year after year, revising it year after year, and keep adding things into it, upgrading the clauses there, and then have accountability within your team. That's how we operate as for now. Probably for the next conference we'll be, again, growing and we'll do something else.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for that. Any other questions, anyone? If not, I think...
I have one follow-up, if you allow me.
Please go ahead.
So
The mic or without?
Without mic. Au natural. So you mentioned the law. Now I'm not as familiar as you, right? I believe.
No, I'm as familiar as you.
No.
I'm sure. There are some things I don't know, like what you know. Of course.
You're making me blush.
Knowledge is vast, and learning is up to our grave.
So we have PDPL,
Yes.
Personal Data Protection Law. Now you have GDPR, but
Yes.
I believe DORA crosses over more.
Yeah.
The operations resilience.
Yes.
Now you mentioned that you don't want the terminology of sorry or perhaps making mistakes and seeing it as a negative. But there must be a line that companies have where there is negligence and then there's innovation. That's really what I'm trying, because remember, DORA is not here as you rightfully said, but there must be somewhere where the regulators will say, you know what, this is negligence versus innovation. Have any of you ever experienced that line, and if so, how did you handle it? That's my final question.
That's what for us, negligence, we define negligence in the policy. What is negligence and what is not negligence? Adding to that, what you spoke about the other regulations, in Jan, or I should say on Jan 22nd, 2026, UK came up with a law called DUA, D-U-A, Data Privacy Act. I mean, there is, DUA Act. And so what we do is, we are vigilant, because see, in our company, we trade with different organizations cross-border. So we are not concerned, for example, about Chile. Every year we see the organizations that we deal with, the countries they are from. So we try to conform ourselves with those regulations that are operating there. And of course, the key glossary, it includes what is negligence, what is goodwill, what is a mistake, or what is sandbox. So all these terms are already defined in the glossary. That's it. For us, it's policy regulation, because if there is nothing in writing, so I would say like this, policy without governance is PDF. And governance without policy is like traversing a path which might be illegitimate. So there has to be a rationale and a reasoning for every action. So where would I find that? For me, I would find it in my company policies. For us, my company policy is in consonance with regulations, cross-border, and we are concerned about the countries that we are dealing with. By God's grace, tomorrow if our company deals with, say, Chile, example, then we will try to integrate those, what Chile is doing. Okay, let us take it from there. Okay, if it is South Korea had an act promulgated just in January 2026. Okay, South Korea, okay, let us see what has there and we will try to integrate it into our policies. So that's how we would handle it.
Engage with the regulator in advance.
Yeah.
Don't hide it, don't go, engage with them. And if they don't know, don't say we're going to educate you, they will not like it. Say we'll work together to find a solution.
We always support, to be honest. If you go to them, they are very supportive. If you don't go and they catch you, it's very painful. So ultimately, we work together. No one is a taskmaster.
One last question from me. Not a serious question, but something that's curious. Do you see, say, AI agent becoming a member of the board of directors in near
Big
future?
question. This is a big one. There is a law for that. It is. Singapore has come up with AI agentic law, 2026.
But in terms of capability and the necessity, do you see it happening in near future?
Use it as a tool, I would say. That's it. Use it as a tool. Human brain, irreplaceable. God given, free.
Thank you so much. Please join me in thanking our esteemed panelists for their insights, their candor, and most importantly, their time.